Well, and most people think that they know marketing, right? By no fault of their own. Like they genuinely believe that they do, but they don't know the quantification. They don't really know the back end as well as they probably should before throwing a lot of money into it. Yeah. And that's no fault on their part, right? Because we've always been told, oh, you can target really well on Facebook or on Google or whatever. You can target really well. Just put in $100 a day or something. You'll pick up some people. There's some truth to that, but not if you're targeting the wrong people.
Got Greg Kirkham in the office for the podcast today. So glad to have you here, man. It's good.
Glad to be here, man. Thank you. Yeah, you've got a pretty sweet setup, and thanks for the hoodie. Yeah,
appreciate it. You make it look good, bro. I didn't contribute much there. You just made it look good. You actually walked in the house looking good. Dude, so just a little backstory. This is kind of entertaining. So Greg worked at a company called Solar Wholesale. They brought him in to be a president to figure out how to make this place like hum and be everything it's supposed to be. And so that's how Greg and I met and kind of created a relationship. And well, I tell you what, you kind of blew me away when you told me kind of your backstory, what you've been doing, where you came from and stuff. Like you used to work at Harmon Brothers. Actually, you probably still do work with Harmon Brothers, right?
Not anymore. I've actually I've stepped away and I'm working on my own stuff now, man.
Are you?
Yeah.
Like what did you do with the Harmon Brothers? Because you had an influence there.
Yeah, I was the VP over analytics. So I ran all of their data analytics. So like targeting segments, the people that actually would be interested in their videos. And then also testing out like the messaging and whatnot to see if it resonates with people.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like Harmon Brothers did the purple mattress.
Yep. Squaty
Potty, the unicorn poops.
Yep.
They've had what's the name of the deodorant one they did? Because that one was pretty good.
Lumi. Yeah, probably one of my favorites. Actually.
One of your favorites?
Yeah.
That's like my daughter loves that one. That's kind of how I found out about that one.
Yeah, you were rocking out to that music though.
A little bit, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
What was that? What was the Mr. Fix It that tape? Like tape strong as steel.
Oh yeah, they rolled the car down the mountain.
Yeah,
pieced it together with the tape. Yeah,
and did that.
It's insane, man.
That was actually crazy. Kind of a trip, man.
Yeah, they really do. They did all of that.
Yeah.
None of it's CGI or anything like that. None of it's like.
Were you there
doctored.
When they did that?
No, I wish. That would have been amazing. There's nothing better than, well, in my opinion, there would be nothing better than seeing a car roll down the mountain safely. Safely, and then see what really. I mean, their tape obviously must have worked. There's no CGI in it. Oh yeah, fantastic.
The impact was crazy.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Did that. So now what you're doing. So you Adweek reached out to you. They're like, hey, we know who you are. You've got a presence. We love you. Come over here and be a co-host with us. We got 6 million viewers that's on our channel. And we love your backstory. We love what you're doing. So they took and they invited you on the board, right?
Yeah. So I was a marketing consultant, marketing operations consultant for 15 years. And so I was able to network with a lot of people in the marketing industry. A lot of different businesses, built up a reputation, right? And I own Wells Digital Media, who they originally contacted to try to get in touch with me because I don't know, apparently I'm off the grid a little bit. Didn't realize this. But yeah, they contacted me to host their Marketing and Beyond segment.
Okay.
So it's got a distribution of 6 million people. So
yeah, that's big.
Here I am doing the rounds.
Heck yeah. You're going to get a lot of camera time.
Yes, sir.
So you didn't start off this way. Like there's a lot of really good things that are happening. You got a tremendous background. We got to go through it. But when I was sitting with you just the other day, we were talking about your backstory. Like you kind of blew me away. I did not realize. I mean, this podcast is Rags and Riches. Not everybody comes from rags, but you did.
I did, literally.
Like
literally.
Take it, share some of that backstory because as you were describing it to me, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I grew up. I should say in my teens, I moved into a 1-bedroom sheep shack.
1-bedroom sheep shack
with myself and some parent and a couple of parents, my parents, I guess I should say. And like, I remember waking up in the morning with mice literally laying down on my chest, trying to warm up. Or in the middle of the night, you know, hearing the mouse trap go off.
Oh my God.
And no, shoot, there's something in there.
You got food. I'm just kidding.
That's a mid-morning snack is what that is, right? No, I think what really got me was when like we would turn on the oven.
Yeah.
And suddenly you get the smell of flesh.
Yeah.
Of mouse burning inside of the oven.
Oh, snap. Because they're crawling around. They're trying to find something warm too.
Something warm. Yeah. But so yeah, I lived there and then I moved out pretty early and started my own business, my own marketing.
But it was at the age of 14? Is that what you said? Or
yeah, I was 14 when I originally,
out.
When I moved out. Yeah.
Dude, you're like Tony Robbins, man. Actually, I'm trying to remember if he was 14 or 17. I think he was 17. So you were probably, okay, so you're 14.
Yeah, I was 14. Tony Robbins is way better than me, though. I mean, his
story's nuts.
Story is insane. But yeah.
But 14, you move out. You're on your own. You're responsible to take care of Greg.
Yep.
So how did Greg take care of Greg?
I finished high school. Started a marketing business, actually, though, where we were passing out flyers and building websites and doing paid ads for businesses. And
at the age of 14?
Yeah, and somehow, yeah, dead serious. Yeah,
I'm not even 14, and I still struggle with paid ads.
We figured it out. I had an awesome mentor, and that really showed me the ropes and helped me get there. And for some reason, some of these businesses really trusted me. For some reason, I have no clue why. As a 14-year-old, really, like
14-year-old,
would you trust a 14-year-old with thousands of dollars?
Yeah, apparently I do. But I mean, I think twice about giving him my ad budget because I've run ads and I've blown $10,000 and got nothing out of it.
Yep.
A few times.
So I was able to really dial in on that and be able to start showing some results. And so they started trusting me more and more and throwing more and more money at me.
So at the age of 14, out of curiosity, how much money did you actually end up managing in an ad portfolio? Just out of curiosity.
At 14, it was a little lower. I think I was managing right around 150,000.
At the age of 14, you're managing 150,000.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking a few years ago. That's before inflation made 140 or 50,000 seem a little smaller because that was a lot more back then.
Yep. Yeah, and by the time I was 21, I was managing right around 3.5 million a month.
3.5 million of ad spend a month.
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick.
It was pretty sweet.
That's legit. You got that's legit.
It was amazing. I was really, honestly, really blessed. Right.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually how did you find a mentor at the age of 14 that could literally start guiding you? Because that's a tender age to start figuring out how to do that.
Yeah, I actually just started begging.
You did?
Yeah, like showing up at some marketing agencies' doorsteps, literally showing up at their doorsteps. And finally, I showed up every day at my mentor's door.
Yeah.
Asking him, can you show me some stuff?
Yeah.
Right? And eventually he finally, like at the beginning, he was very just like, no, I'm not going to show you. Like, you're too young. Come back after high school. Yeah. I'll show you after high school. Maybe I'll give you a job. But I kept on showing up. I kept on saying, just show me one or two things. I've got to go to school.
Yeah.
And so I would go in, he'd show me a couple things.
Yeah.
And then finally he started bringing me in. And I changed up the schedule. So I was going to school from like 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So 3 hours a day.
Oh, okay.
And working full time during the day.
Okay.
Just trying to build up this business.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's kind of crazy because, I mean, basically you were just trying to do some sort of night school just to get out of high school. So you were not in a traditional high school classroom setting.
Not at all. No. Yeah. It was 3 to 6 is the name of the program.
3 to 6.
It was, or at least that was the nickname, right?
Yeah.
So because I had moved out so early, I basically went to the school district and let them know the situation.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, let's put you in this program. Let's get you set up, and then let's get you on track to be able to graduate still.
Wow.
So yeah.
Dude, that's actually pretty cool.
It was pretty sweet. Yeah. I mean, I was definitely fortunate. That's for sure.
You turned a lemon, bro, into some lemonade because I can at the age of 14 trying to figure it out. That would have been tough. You kind of remind me of Sylvester Stallone a little bit. his first movie he killed it was Rocky, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Tony Robbins was like, dude, how many times did you go pedal that show? And he's like 3,500 times. And Tony Robbins is like, there's not 3,500 producers. He's like, I know, I just kept going back.
Yep. Got to keep on going.
Somebody said yes. And like, how many times do you think you went and knocked on the door trying to say, help me, show me some marketing?
Oh man, probably at least 100 times.
At least 100 times.
At least 100 times, yeah. And he told me he turned me down the majority of it. Pulled me in to show me one or two things like, okay, this is the platform.
Yeah.
This is what I do. These are my ad sets. Yeah. This is how I position it.
Yeah.
Right. And then from there, he started showing me a little bit on how he actually buys and his strategy at the time. Right. Yeah. I mean, strategies have changed so much since, but those core fundamentals are still the same.
Still the same fundamentals.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 21, you're managing, you said 3-point-something million?
3.5, yeah.
3.5 million at the age of 21. What point did you actually go create your own ad agency?
Yeah, so with my own ad agency, it wasn't until I was actually older, because I walked away from it all for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so you got to explain that, because you're managing a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a time when I went into the military. I was in the Navy.
Okay.
And I walked away from it all because I felt like that was my purpose.
Being in the Navy.
That's a great purpose for most people. And I felt like that was my purpose. And so I went in, I dropped everything and I went for that. Wow. And then after that, I decided, okay, it's time to come back.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started an agency. I started from scratch when I came back from that.
And you literally just started figuring it out and building it and creating it.
Yeah. Yeah. Started software development company, went from there, ended up actually scaling that. So that one went global.
How big did that one get then?
That one, I think right now they're valued right around 100 million.
So you started a deal that became 100 million.
Yep.
So you must have sold that at some point along the way.
I'm still on board.
You're still on board?
Yeah, I'm still on board. I'm just not active with it.
You're just not an active, but you're still an owner?
Yeah.
Snap, dude.
A very, very minor share. I ended up selling a lot of that and getting into some other stuff and investing into those. Yeah.
That's quite the journey you had there.
Yeah.
Okay. So the software one. Okay. And then what?
From there, I ended up starting a solar bracket manufacturing company because I saw, there was a major demand. There still is a major demand for solar.
Yes. Big time.
Well, what do you need on every single solar installation?
Dude, something's got to hold those panels.
Something's got to hold those panels.
Yeah, you have to. There's no way around it.
And the majority of the the brackets were complete crap.
Yes.
Right? They weren't rated for certain areas like in Florida.
Yes.
And so we made one, myself and a business partner, we made one that was rated for those 200 mile per hour winds. The roof would come off before the bracket would.
Bracket would?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I knew you were involved in Predator. Okay, so then you figured that out, started manufacturing brackets and stuff. Like, what became of that company?
Ooh, that one faced a little bit of a scandal.
Did it?
Yeah, I can't really talk about that too much, but we ended up licensing the bracket itself over to a major solar company, and then we kind of just dissolved the rest of the company.
Dissolved the rest of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
So it's great. It works, but...
So you made a killer product, then it kind of went somewhere. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Still get a minor paycheck from it though.
Do you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you got these little revenue streams hanging out there, all kinds of places.
That's the only way to do it, right?
I know, right?
You've got to have at least 2 to 5, if not more.
If not more.
If you can help it.
Yeah.
Right. You need to be able to find those revenue streams.
You've already gone through and created some pretty big companies, because Predator, if I'm not mistaken, actually got to be a decent sized company.
Yeah. Yeah. That one was right around 120.
Right around 120 million.
Yeah.
So that's pretty decent. You've now been at the creation of 2 companies that at least got into the 100 million apiece.
That's right. Working on the third. Right?
Working on the third. And so along this journey, how did you actually end up winding up with the Harmon Brothers?
Yeah, it's actually through my wife.
Okay.
So she's a creative director over there.
Okay.
So I was put in contact with them, so they were aware of me.
Yes.
But I was also working with one of their clients.
Okay.
So I was helping to scale up another business that they were helping, and they kind of decided to start interacting with me after I left. They actually reapproached me and asked, would you do this? So yeah, jumped on board.
So then, like, for them, what was your primary responsibility? Just out of curiosity, for the Harmon Brothers.
Analytics. So compiling data. So in my approach with marketing, it's very data oriented. So behavioral analysis, finding out what drives people to actually purchase, right? Like I call it the spray and pray approach, where people put out ads without a clear understanding of who they're targeting, or why that person is even going to be purchasing, right?
Oh yeah.
Very common. It's waste of ad spend, but it's very common.
I'm glad you know that, because I've already wasted mine.
Where if you dial in on the data, on the actual analysis, and you find out what drives your specific consumer to purchase, what motivates them, and how they purchase, right? Like, are they going to be purchasing on a monthly basis, yearly basis? What kind of cash flow do they typically look at? Then you can dial in on it and really be more effective. Because you're going to be able to target them when they're ready. I always think of it as a proposal, right? This might be a ridiculous.
You got to use that analogy, because like everybody listening to this podcast wants to know how to get their ads in front of the person at exactly the right time, in a manner in which they're willing to say yes.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to know that. So let's drop some Douglas, bro, because like everybody wants to know that.
Well, you've got to start off strong, right? Like in the very beginning, you're just making these people aware of your brand. Okay. They have no clue who you are. If you're pushing to the purchase right off the bat, it's like, okay, why would I give you my money? I don't even know you yet. Okay. Right? So you kind of need to nuzzle up to them a little bit and get them to know you, get them to become familiar with your ads. Okay. And if they don't purchase off of that, right, because some people will, you've got to have a strong middle of funnel. And what I mean by middle of funnel is making them more aware of you. Okay. Showing them, hey, this is our product. This is the backstory of the company, potentially, is one of the options. Yeah. Right? And then bring them over to the website, right? If they go over to the website, then they've already committed. Okay. They've made some sort of commitment, even if it's a soft commitment, like a kiss on a first date, right?
All right. You got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. Yeah. It's like they're going over to the website and they're checking you out. You've got to know where they're checking. And so for me personally, I always have like what's called a heat map to see exactly where they're looking.
As far as they're scrolling down the page, trying to find out where they're pausing, what they're looking at, so you can say, okay, this is strong, this is weak, because they just blew past it type stuff.
Yep. Yeah, okay. Exactly. And think of it like, if you knew, say when you were dating your wife, right? If you knew exactly what she was thinking, or at least, you know, what was most important to her, you might be able to focus a little bit more on that, right? Right. It's the same with this. You're heat mapping, they're showing you exactly where they're interested. Just modify it a little bit, right?
So you're changing copy, images, what, like when you say modify, what are you kind of referring to?
Yeah, I mean, it could even be like, say they're only scrolling down halfway down the page. Okay. Right? Mm-hmm. You know that you probably need a purchase button right up at the top or before that middle, because they've already lost interest by the time they're halfway.
We're playing them out way too long. Give them a chance to buy or do something, take action.
Yeah. Yep.
Before they start cooling off.
Give them a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely court them a little. Right. They've already made the commitment to go over to the website or go over. Now it's your job to keep them engaged.
Keep them going.
And, you know, ultimately get to that marriage, right? That relationship where they're finally making that purchase. They're buying into you or your product. Okay. At that point, just as you would in a relationship.
That's actually kind of fascinating, trying to figure out how you're doing that, because I think one time you told me, like, you're constantly tweaking headlines, messaging, you're testing everything over and over and over again, finally trying to figure out what finally resonates before you start really trying to scale anything out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you've got to nail it down, right? You've got to nail it. I mean, this is really commonly used, but nail it and then scale it. Yes. Otherwise, you're just throwing money away, right? Yeah. But if you nail down exactly what the customer or the consumer really wants first, and what's resonating with the consumer, then you're able to actually put the money behind it and show. The one thing that I can say to do, though, is only test one variable at a time. What I mean by that is, like, don't change the imagery and the copy and everything else, the buying button or anything like that all at once, because you don't know what the change is. Right? Yeah. You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know the variable.
Whereas if you change or you tweak along the way, then you're able to pivot more quickly. So that's probably one of the best pieces of advice that I can say.
You're like one of the things that you had to have been really close to this. I remember listening to Russell Brunson one time, and I know you're good friends with Russell.
Yeah.
One time, Russell Brunson, he was talking about Harmon Brothers. He goes, I'm telling you, this is what they do. He goes, they'll create a headline that goes nowhere. Yep. They just want to see, are you willing to click on or have a conversation with it? And they'll just $500 to nowhere, $500 to nowhere until they figure out what somebody's willing to say, okay, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you want to test the interest.
Yeah.
At this point, you're not even trying to push the purchase yet.
Yep. You're
just trying to see what tests well. Yeah. Because there's also segmented variable testing, right? Yeah. This is something that I do that a lot of other people don't necessarily do, where I'll do, say, a dead end. Now, the marketing side, I'll say this is done by my good friend Brett.
Okay.
Brett Crockett, amazing marketer, absolutely incredible guy, and he runs the marketing side of Harmon Brothers. He's incredible. But they'll do multiple variants and multiple tests to these dead end landing pages where basically it just goes nowhere because they're testing along the way and quantifying that data to be able to see, like, is this resonating, or what one is it landing on?
Yeah,
it's incredible. Yeah. Love it.
I just want to know, are you going to have a conversation with me or not? Because until you're willing to talk, there's no point in building nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I found that amusing. I had one of my friends. Actually, I wonder if he wasn't following Harmon Brothers methodology, because he goes and he creates a Facebook page. It's a crap page.
Yeah.
And literally he tests all of his crap on that page. And he knows that he's going to get bad reviews because he creates these messages, sends it over to this thing, and somebody's like clicking, trying to click the button. It goes nowhere. And he's like, yeah, I know what created a bad experience. I just want to know if you want to talk. Oh. Now that you're having a conversation with me, now I know that this is actually worthwhile. But he's probably looking for the same thing I believe you're describing is not just, you're looking for outliers, like these, like, boom, spike, high demand, like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Somebody got their attention finally.
I'm pushing for the interest. I can remarket to them after, as a website visitor.
Okay.
I can remarket to them. I would rather create the best possible experience for them at that point to be able to reapproach.
Yeah.
Hands down, any day.
Kind of crazy marketing, huh?
Yeah. What I do is on the back end, I quantify all that data.
Okay.
So basically quantifying what's resonating with people, what's not, what kind of behavior patterns I'm looking for that specific product. Even, am I targeting the male, female, what age demographic, even median income, right?
So you get a very, very defined avatar. People talk about having defined avatar. I probably think I have an avatar, but you probably know that you actually have an avatar, and you're trying to talk to a single person.
Oh yeah.
And that's what you're really saying, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah. So I build out personas, right? The avatar.
Yeah.
Where I know exactly where it's going to be, who I'm specifically targeting. Yeah. So that from there, content can be created around it. Mm-hmm. If I'm targeting a 45-year-old man with an income level of $85,000 to $100,000 a year, I'm not going to throw out, not typically at least, roses and, all these things that won't necessarily appeal, right?
Work on Mother's Day, but that's about it.
Right, yeah. Because it's a waste of ad spend at that point. And I'm not actually serving the end customer, the end consumer, that avatar. I'm not serving him either, because I'm not putting the ads in front of him that will help improve his life or give him the product that would be beneficial for him.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I wish I could tell you I was a rock star right there. Yeah, I'm not. Just go ahead and admit it. But I think it's fascinating that you did it because you have a marketing agency now, and you've already got, how many clients you got?
I've got 157 clients.
157 clients. And what you're really doing, 157 clients. So every one of these guys probably has a different avatar. So how are you, what are you doing with each client, to help each one of these guys figure out their avatar so they can start scaling and dialing in who they're selling to?
Yeah, I think it's important to say, in the very beginning, we do a rapid fire testing is what I call it, where we test it first.
Okay.
Before jumping in, before taking tens of thousands of dollars in ad spend from these people, I'm first starting with, let's do 2,000 in ad spend. You pay my agency fee. You've got a dedicated account manager now, and we're going to give you active updates. Let's test this out though. Let's build this out before we ask you to invest in all this other stuff. Because by the end, if I were to say, well, let's say I jump into a full-fledged Facebook marketing, Google marketing campaign, but I've got the wrong persona. Who do you think that responsibility falls on if I start off targeting the wrong people?
Oh, I tell you what, man. Like the marketing ad agency should probably know that.
Yeah.
Because I already know I don't have that expertise.
Right. And most agencies would say, well, that's the responsibility of the customer, or of the client, I should say.
You know, right? And I could do that because, like, who are you trying to sell to? Who'd you build the product for?
Yeah.
And so I could get that, but I also understand that most of us are probably confused about who we're actually trying to market to. We need some mentorship to get in the right ballpark.
Yeah. Well, and most people think that they know marketing, right? By no fault of their own. Like they genuinely believe that they do, but they don't know the quantification. They don't really know the back end as well as they probably should before throwing a lot of money into it. Yeah. And that's no fault on their part, right? Yeah. Because we've always been told, oh, you can target really well on Facebook or on Google or whatever. You can target really well. Just put in $100 a day or something. You'll pick up some people. There's some truth to that, but not if you're targeting the wrong people.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Maybe put it in perspective, like, because you were the VP at Harmon Brothers doing this, right? Because Harmon Brothers, that is not a small fish. That's a big fish.
They're incredible. And they had a major program in back of them before too. But we just not on the heavy side.
The heavy side.
Yeah. Like they've got amazing people over there. But yeah.
What do you think? Like, is that a $100 million company? Or like, I know Harmon Brothers have got to be pretty significant.
They're huge. Yeah. I'm not sure on the financials, but I respect them. Yeah.
It's hard not to respect them considering they make some of the best ads in the marketplace.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and their messaging, I mean, they do so much research, but then the creative minds over there are just
crazy, huh?
Absolutely insane in the best possible way, of course, right? Like they've got a unique perspective on everything. Nothing but kudos for them, man.
Holy cow, you got a crazy background. Like taking two companies up to 100 million, then being the VP of analytics at Harmon Brothers, having your own ad agency. Okay. Then you have Adweek. Like, you didn't find Adweek. Adweek found you.
Yeah. They found me.
And they're like, hey, wait a minute. Because like right here, right now, you're like in the middle of a biography to start creating a biography and it just really kind of show your backstory. Cause there's a lot there.
Yeah. Yeah. They picked up an author and everything. They're having an author write a book about me. We're meeting up after this.
So right after this, it's already going. Yeah,
I'll tell you though, I've never been so uncomfortable in my life. Like, not many people want a book written about them, right? But
sure, because they're gonna dig into you, man.
Oh yeah, all the dirt, all the dirt.
Get it out there, but I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, like Sheep Shack to creating multi-$100 million companies. I mean, that's legit, dude. It's like. I'm even kind of confused how you've done it multiple times, actually, because it's not just once.
Patterning,
it's
right?
Just patterning.
Yeah, finding just kind of what I was talking about earlier too, where you find just before we are on, where you find a pattern that works, and either you find a way or you make a way.
Find a way or make a way. Yep.
For me, I found a way and I made a way.
But you had to, right?
Yep. Working with some incredible people, but then also developing some of my own patterns, some of my own paths through mentorship and also through dissecting other people's methodologies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say, actually? I mean, I'm glad you said that. What do you think contributed most to figuring this stuff out? Was it mentorship or like some people like just, I have one friend who doesn't like anybody's input and he just tries 10,000 things and tries to figure out what's right. And he crushes it. He scaled his business up to 100 million.
Yeah. But
at the same time, like not everybody, I don't know. To me, it seems like the pattern that makes the most sense is figure out, like, find somebody that models. You can model that's successful. Yeah. So you can compress decades down to days.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the way you lean.
Yeah, I definitely lean more that way. Like, I personally prefer mentorship. And the reason being is I can take their experience without me having to go through all of it first, right?
Sure.
And then I can take what I want and leave what I don't.
Oh, yeah.
and then model those behaviors and even create some of my own to be able to get there, rather than trying to experiment in 10,000 different ways. No offense to your friend, right? No offense to your friend at all, but rather than going through those 10,000 things, I can go through 100, right? Things that already work.
I agree with you on that. That's why I like the mentorship route.
Oh yeah.
It's too painful. Like, he's got pig-headed determinists. I would give him credit because in the sense that, dude, he followed Russell Brunson. He came out of the Russell Brunson camp. He's got 17 𝗂𝗏 awards. He's got the most 𝗂𝗏 awards out of anybody inside ClickFunnels.
Oh, man.
And then in a single year, he got 3 10Xs. But so he came out of that camp. But I think what he was really saying to me is that I wouldn't say that he didn't grab mentorship. I would say that too many people wanted to be a coach, but didn't know how to be a coach. And then they started clouding his mind with their ideas that don't work. Yeah. Finally, he's like, dude, like, I know enough. I'm just going to go try some of my own stuff.
This guy sounds like a freaking genius. You might need to introduce me.
Yeah. You probably ought to know him. Jason Harward. This guy's a total rock star. In fact, so cool. His uncle, boy, I ought to connect you with his uncle. So Matt Harward is his uncle. He's coming on here. Oh, they have taken companies multiple times, scaled them up to 7 and 8 figure companies. Wow. And so right now he's out there in South Korea, and he's like, man, he goes, Mike, as soon as I get back from South Korea, because like, dude, he's in the pursuit of the good life. He's vacationing all over all the time. Oh, he's like, when I get back, he says we'll sit down and do it. But yeah, I think we might have you somebody to put on your show.
Sweet.
Because that guy, dude, he's like you. He loves the data, and he figures it out. And as soon as he understands it, he starts, okay, this is how we apply the data. This is how we scale it up. This is how we get our messaging in the right place. And done it over and over again. Yes, we'll introduce you to that guy. You'll love the guy.
Sweet. Yeah.
So we got the book, the agency. What is it that you like about agency work? Because one of the things that you told me, you mentioned here just a second ago, put $2,000 towards figuring out some of the fundamentals of the business.
Oh yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the things that you said is, do you work on like a performance base? Is that how you take and you operate?
Yep. Yeah. So I've got the retainer, right? But I personally prefer the performance base. Yeah.
Like, how does that work? Like, when you take and set it up inside an ad agency, how does your performance based system work?
Yeah, so we get everything set up, right? We get all the creative and everything. So there's that. Like, we make sure that we dial in on the creative. We understand everything first, and then what we do is the client runs the ad, or I should say, gives us the ad spend. Yeah. Right? We position it, and then we just take a cut. We take a set fee.
A set fee?
So whether it's $10, $20 per lead, whatever it might be.
Oh, per lead?
Yeah.
That it generates? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we don't bring nothing in, we're not going to really take anything is what you're saying.
Right. Yeah.
So if you don't know your job, this is going to be a hard model.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the best way to do it, though, especially if you're confident in your service, right? If you're not confident, if you're brand new, just starting out, performance-based can be lean.
Very expensive experience.
Oh, yeah. On both parts, right? Because from an agency perspective, you're also bringing in creatives. You're bringing in graphic designers. You're bringing in people that are going to design everything out. By the end, if you're not bringing in those leads or if you're not bringing in those sales, you're out.
Oh, yeah.
You're not making anything.
Yeah, that's for dang sure.
Yep.
Like, as you described that model, I really haven't bumped into a lot of people in the marketing world that love that model. I see 𝗥𝗴𝘀, and he puts out ads all the time. He's like, he advertises, he goes up straight up. He goes, we go off performance. Yeah. And I know why he does it. Because and as I learned his mentality, like the reality is if he knows how to deliver and perform so that you win, we win, he makes more money collectively based on that performance based system. But it reduces the risk on the owner of the asset also, right? Yeah. Because if you don't perform, then I'm not getting bent over.
Yep. Yeah. Whereas if you do really well, the agency makes money.
Yeah.
They make quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
But it's fair.
Yeah.
Right. But ultimately, it's a really low barrier to entry too. I mean,
absolutely.
The client covers, maybe, depending on the client, right? Sometimes they'll cover the cost of the creative and whatnot. But a lot of the time, all they're covering is the ad spend.
Just the ad spend.
And then the back end, the performance.
So the people that come to you, like, I mean, you obviously you've got to vet out a lot of companies that don't make sense because it's like, dude, that model will never work.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so coming from a CEO and a guy that's created $100 million companies, that's an endorsement, dude. You actually have something. This one's real. We could scale this one.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's get in the game. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes genuinely it makes more sense for the company to go more the retainer route. Sometimes, depending on the business, of course, right? It makes more sense for them, makes more sense for us, depending on the company itself. Mm-hmm. But I personally prefer that performance because then I have something to prove at that point.
Absolutely.
But I'm getting rewarded for that too.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some recognition, like achievement and then actually getting compensated for doing it.
Oh yeah. And it's addicting too.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's nothing like coming in, all that you're doing is bringing in leads.
Yeah.
And making sure that you're refining and tweaking some of the creative and testing and whatnot. But there's nothing more rewarding than bringing in a crap ton of leads and getting compensated for it because you did your job.
You did, right?
Yeah.
Because like if a company's built right, they should have enough margin. Like I joke with people like I do on this Amazon store stuff because I do these Amazon stores automation. I'm like, look, there's two ways you could do this. Okay. You could go do it as a DIY where you've now got to you've got to go buy the software to help you analyze product. Then
expensive.
You've got to analyze it yourself, figure out what it means. Then you've got to become the procurement officer to buy the thing. Then you've got to be the copywriter. Then you got to be the photographer. Then you've got to be the shipping department. And then you've got, I'm like, by the time you get done doing all that, like you're not going to make any money. No. This is a volume game, and you're playing to lose.
Yeah, I mean, you're already thinking. That person is already thinking in the scarcity mindset, right?
Right.
They are putting their time, devaluing their time, where they can come to you and have it all set up.
Plug into it.
Why wouldn't they want to just plug into it?
Like I was joking the other day. I'm like, you come into a done for you service, you might not need a full-time creative, somebody that takes pictures, but it would be better to have 5% of an expert. Just buy the slice, buy it by the pound. Just buy your slice of this, slice of this, slice of this, slice of this. Cause I structure my business on performance based, meaning like, if I don't make you any money, like we don't get your money. I have a upfront setup cost because it does bona fide legitimate cost us money to start processing and setting it up. Yeah. But after that, we do what you're doing. We flip it to a rev share. You win, we win. That's like we suck. You ain't like, you don't end up paying us. It's like, sorry, we screwed up. We didn't get any money either. Yeah. So I don't want we only want to scale. Yeah. Take it big, baby.
Yeah. You've got to grow it, right? I think of it as confidence. Yeah. Right. How confident are you in your service or product or whatever? Yes. That's the ultimate stake. Yes. I don't make you money. I don't make any money. Yep. It's huge. Yeah.
And it makes it's like, but what it's creating, like if you think about it, I mean, this is part of your marketing genius in this sense, is because you're making an irresistible offer where you're making it easy for somebody to say yes to something, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, who wouldn't say yes to something like that? Right.
Let me show you how to say yes.
Yeah. Here, I'm confident that I can help you. Yeah. You pay me a fee for the ones that I bring in, but other than that, you don't pay me a thing. Who does that? I mean, I'm probably insane that way, right? Like, I probably shouldn't do that. In fact, my CFO would probably, prefer I don't do that.
Oh, it's true. It's true. So I was listening. All right. So it's kind of funny. Backstory a little bit on this. I was listening to 𝗥𝗴𝘀, right? Yeah. And he was talking about creating his irresistible offer. And he was talking to his dad one day, and he was talking, and somehow his dad kept trying to call him. He was busy. He was tied up in these meetings with what he calls his gym lords. He's got his gym lords. And finally he's like, I know my dad's going to be concerned. So he calls him back and he's like, hey dad, he was like, I'm sorry, I'm just here with the gym lords doing this stuff. And his dad's like, I didn't know you had an event going on. And he goes, yeah, it's like kind of my top tier. They're out here, and I can't remember what he said to his dad, something to the tune. There's like 1,000 people here. And his dad was like, I didn't know they were doing that. And I think his dad asked him how much he was charging him. It was probably $50,000 plus. It was like $50,000, 100,000, something like that. And his dad's like, dude, you're like, he went into scarcity a little bit. He's like, you're ripping them off. Do they know that you're ripping them off? And he goes, Dad, I'm not. No. He goes, because with every one of my gym lords that come in, the model is set up this way. Like we'll come in, we'll run your ads, we'll do everything, and we'll take it from A to Z. You implement our program. But here's the deal. We collect, I think what he was saying is look, we'll scale it out. But if we're going to spend our own money and do everything for the first 30 days we launch your business, we get to keep all of the revenue because that's how we're going to get reimbursed for building your business, hammering, scaling it out. And he's like, we got so good at it that we generated ridiculous amounts of money. And we made, so on average, my gym lords made like $200,000 a year. And so they paid me $60,000. He's like, Dad, do you have a problem if they make 200 and I make 60 for launching? They're basically launching it. And his dad's like, no, I'd take that. He's like, exactly. That's why they're paying me.
Yeah. It's not ripping people off. It's how much do those people value the business?
Yeah.
How much do they value their own business at that point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's making them 200.
Yeah.
He's charging them 60. Like he's still a minority share in that.
Dude, like
there's nothing wrong with that.
As soon as he presented it, I would take that deal. You're telling me you'll come in, do all the ads and show me how to do the whole thing, but you get the first 30 days of profits? Oh, man. And then I get the business? Yeah, come save me.
It's a no-brainer at that point, you know?
And that's it. And he just did it over and over, and he's probably helped like 1,300 people. It was a big number.
Wow, that's
crazy. A big pile of gym lords.
That's fantastic, though. That's really cool. I mean, and it's that type of model that has started to grow that, right? Why he has 1,300 people.
Oh, yeah. Because
it's no brainer.
Worked.
Yeah.
I got like, I'd like to say I got real creative. I got my Amazon lords. Like, it's the Amazon lords. It's like, dude, you guys come in, we'll scale it out, make you create the good life. Because, dude, I think that's funny. I like a Amazon lord, man.
I love it. I love the play on it too. That's awesome.
Be the marketing lords.
There we go. Cool.
Something like that. Cause
play it off of it.
Yeah, it was good. But I really the biggest thing I liked about what he did is it's just like, dude, his confidence, like the same thing that you're doing, same thing I'm doing. It's like you don't win, we don't win. That's fine. But like but last time I checked, you've got staff, and those staff think that they're getting a check, which means that if you don't perform, it's a problem. Therefore, like when you lean in like that, you're actually committed because you know you can deliver a result, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you've got to lean into the strengths, right? You've got to lean into the strengths. And I've got my 37 plus people that work for me that need that check. If I don't perform, if my buyers don't perform, who's going without that paycheck? I'll be the first one. You'll probably
be the first one that doesn't get paid.
Yeah, I'll be the first one to give up that money.
Yep.
Because they put their trust in me.
Yep.
And in this model, if I don't perform, that responsibility is on me.
Yep.
It's not their fault.
Yep.
But we've never missed a payment.
Exactly. There's no point in going there.
Nope.
Get some confidence, do the right thing.
That's right.
Kind of my experience, if you do the right thing and make sure people have a good experience with you, it somehow comes back and you get rewarded on it.
Always.
Yeah. It's funny because I haven't really been out prospecting, like helping, like actively trying to identify more clients for solar.
Yeah.
But what keeps happening is people just keep calling me. Hey, Mike, come fix this. Hey, Mike, come fix this. Like I had a client the other day. They just relocated to a new house in Payson.
Oh, nice.
They went from like a 3,500 square foot house up to like a 5,500 square foot house. Electric bill came in at like $600. Their eyes were popping and they're like, dude, there's something, we're messed up. They're like, come here, fix that. You fixed the last one, come fix it again.
They trusted you. You built up that relationship and you stood behind what you do and the knowledge that you have, right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's funny because then in the end, they actually had me put solar on all of his coworkers' houses and then his same house twice. Or on his next house.
Well, it's incredible what a solid, good reputation will do for you, right? Yeah. As of right now, Wells Digital, the marketing agency, right? Wells Digital Media. We've never run any ads. We are now, because we're pushing, but we've never had to run ads because
had clients just come find you, track you down.
Yeah,
you have 157 clients in the end. Essence just came and found you.
Yep. Yeah,
that's funny. Because I met you and I was like, dang, dude, I was like hoping one day you'd leave the solar company and I could come and connect with you.
Here we are, right?
There we are, right?
Yep, here we are.
Because as soon as I caught wind of your background, I started figuring out what you're doing. Like my experience, it is hard to identify and find necessarily rock stars. And if you can find them, like those people can make things happen that otherwise wouldn't happen.
Well, and one thing that I've found why it's so hard to find some of those people is the people that are willing to work the hardest, that are willing to make those sacrifices to be able to help grow or be able to produce the results are the ones working in the background quietly. They're not going to be up front most of the time, at least. They're not going to be as loud as possible about it. Most of the time.
Yeah, there's some exceptions.
There are some exceptions, and some of those exceptions I absolutely adore. So, but you know, it's very different. But you wouldn't necessarily know it until after you meet them.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like as you're describing that. That's kind of you. There's some that are loud and flamboyant, and there's some that are just silently and quietly in the background, orchestrating and making everything happen.
I'm a what I call a super introvert.
Yeah.
Right. I would rather be in the background.
Yeah.
Doing my thing.
Yeah.
While other people do their thing and help kind of guide them. I don't need to be the loudest person in the room.
and so Ad Week is going to stretch your envelope because they're putting you on a platform. They're getting a microphone in front of you. They're getting you FaceTime in front of cameras. They're like, look, bro, you're a rock star. It's time for you to come out of the shadows. Show us, let people see what it is that you do. Yeah. I mean, a platform that big, like tracking you down and approaching you, that's legit.
It's going to be insane. I mean, they're putting me in front of 6 million people. Like that couldn't be the furthest, or it couldn't be further from an introvert, right? Like you best believe I'm going to need some alone time after every single one.
Every one of those sessions.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But it's crazy. I mean, you're friends with Russell Brunson. Like he's an introvert, big time.
Yeah.
But he discovered his calling and the thing that he's good at. And like, how else is he going to help people if he doesn't allow himself to be out there and share his message, right?
Yeah. Well, he's an amazing guy, right? Yeah. He's definitely more of an introvert, I would say.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But he's very engaging. He's very kind. People fall in love with his personality.
Yep.
Because of that. Because he's very genuine that way.
He is genuine.
Right? And I think the genuine patterns or genuine behaviors are the ones that really attract people.
Yep. I like him. I don't feel like his money ruined him.
No.
It actually just allowed him to do a lot more good in the world.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, like if somebody says, you know what, Greg, you put your money where your mouth is. You're a performance-based company. We really, really could use an ad agency, right?
Yeah.
Because like you basically what you described to me as an irresistible offer. Like, so how would somebody come and track down Greg's agency so that they could find you and then try to approach you to work with?
Go to wellsdigitalmedia.com.
Yep. Like WELLS, Wells, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Wells Digital Media. Go there, put in your information, put in where you actually found me.
Yeah.
Or found us, right?
Sure. You love data. Where'd you find me?
Absolutely. I want to know, right? I want to be able to put that together. Yeah. And then submit your information and your needs.
Information's needs, that's how they come in the front door and find a way to meet with you guys and your agency.
And schedule a no obligation consultation. So I've got salespeople and everything. When they go into a meeting, all they're doing is finding out what you need.
Yep.
No pitch, nothing like that at that point at all. We just want to know what you see is most valuable.
Yep. Because, I mean, as you think about it, at the same time, you're trying to discover, like, where's your business? Is your business at a point where we could actually help you? Because there's no point in taking a client off. You can't help them. Not under your model.
Nope. Definitely not under my model. And also, do we like you?
Yeah.
Meaning, are we going to be able to have a productive working relationship?
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
Communication-wise, we need to be able to make sure that we are.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, dude. Well, man, love having you come on here. Dude, is there any last nuggets you want to throw out? Any last nuggets, like your big rags, the richest secrets, the biggest thing that happened in your life that made everything change?
Be genuine.
Genuine.
Be absolutely genuine to you and your approach. Find out what you actually really enjoy and what works.
Yeah.
Now, notice I didn't say passionate about. You don't have to be passionate about what you do. You need to be able to do what you do without going nuts.
Yeah.
Right? And find out what you're good at and always grow.
Always grow.
Never stop growing. Never stop learning. Always continue trying to find out new things. Be better.
Near as I could tell, when you and I talked in the past, you're basically retired. Your wife wanted you to go do something so you'd get out of the house, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So
she didn't like me being home, apparently.
You need to go be active. Go do some things.
Yep.
So that's nice, man. That's what's pulling you in some different directions, I can tell. Man. All right, brother. It was good having you on the podcast, man.
Thanks for having me.
You bet, dude.